Greetings guys, this is Blaze Rich, hope you are all doing well. Today I figured we'd do a video on a catalyst today. I'm not gonna lie, this is the funnest destroyer I've flown in a long time. The thrashers are probably my second favorite, being like super strong. But this catalyst, I wasn't expecting to be as good as what it was. It's just really fun, it's pretty easy to fly, you can engage a lot of things with it, and it does a lot of DPS, and even with null. Like usually when you're thinking about blasters, right, you're thinking short range, stuff I'll be able to get out the range of them, you know, like Void and Anti. But with loading Null with this catalyst, you're heading into 11k, which is really nice. So any scram counters you shouldn't have a problem with, unless they have a TD. So you kind of need to watch out for TDs, like right, say like Crucifier Navy issues or hook bills, right? I'll still go for hook bills, but if it's a TD hook bill, you're probably in a spot of trouble. But yeah, I run MWD in my catalyst, basically because everyone's going to have range control on your enemy with your two mids, even if we were AB Scram, or like AB Web. It might be better against, say, certain destroyers, or against most frigates and stuff, they're going to have range control on your enemy, so the MWD gives us more options as opposed to running AB. It does make cap a bit of an issue sometimes, right? You'll notice that in upcoming fights, but I feel like MWD's the way to go, right? Like, we can catch kiters better, like, those like weird AB web destroyers we should be able to keep up with, or just like AB point, you know, that kind of thing. We should catch up them kiting destroyers and stuff, and potentially like keep speed with some AFs and stuff. Most things engaging this, what you want to engage is like T1 frigates shouldn't be a baller unless they're TD. Like you ideally want like gangs of T1 frigates, which are more fun to fight, 'cause like most T1 frigates aren't going to have too much of a chance against you. Faction frigates shouldn't be a problem. Destroyers will be a good fight. Most assault frigates I wouldn't really engage, especially T2. Well, the Kildari and the Galante assault frigates, just because they have really good resistances towards blasters, being that they have really good thermal and kinetic resistances. The only AAFs I'd really fight and maybe have a chance against is probably a Wolf and a Retro if it's sliding into you. So if you catch it before it pulls range and it's a kitey one, you should be fine, right? But most other AFs will probably have range control on you or just have really good resistances towards you. That pretty much covers the fit. I am running a Paralancia Dose 1 and an Exile just for an extra little tank. And yeah, okay, cool. Let's get on to the fights. Okay, here we have a cool little fight against a Firetail, a Comet, and a Tristan. The Definitive Comet comes in first, which is wise in airports. It's probably the tankiest of the frigates. But I want to just like beeline it for this guy, and I'm using Antimatter. Void might be in the right call, but I'm always worried that these frigates will orbit as close and maybe get under guns a bit. But I use Anti. I basically want to nuke this Definitive Comet. I see the Firetail pulling range is probably going to do Web Arty. And then that Tristan's staying close. So Tristan's going to be your next target. And what I'm thinking next on, like, hopefully we nuke this Tristan before I go down. And then once we do that, I need to switch to Null for that Firetail. I do see that he keeps around about 5.5 to 6k, which we could have actually probably used Antimatter on him still and still be hitting out a little bit, but I end up switching to Null just to like get out to the Scram Kite range. But I was taking too much damage prior, and he gets a volley for us. Okay, the next couple of fights we'll have against his destroyers. This is a Korax, so I go in this with Void loaded. I'm curious to see what kind of Korax is if it pulls range. So there's some like no prop like shield fits, and there's a dual web armor fit, which Galaris is running here. So we use Void just before he pulls range. Yeah, a lot of hefty DPS in, but I notice that he's pulling out range, so this is when we need to switch to Null. So I believe with Void we're only hitting out to 4.5k, with Anti it's about 6.5, and of course with Null we're hitting out to 11. So he makes the right play and pulls out range here. And you will see that this is a very dicey fight, man. It's right down to the wire, so it's a really cool little fight. But unfortunately, we do it. Well, fortunately to take it. But GF, man. This is a sweet fight against Antivirus and his Kinesis. God damn, I've seen his fit once he ended up dying afterwards. 10 a bed dual rep, boys. So this was a sweet little fight. It stays pretty close at the start here, allowing me to use my Void DPS and get a lot of hefty hits in. But he does end up pulling range, in which case we need to switch to Null. And that's something you're going to need to learn when I'm using Catalyst, is when to switch to Null, right? If you take too long to make that decision, you probably end up losing the fight. So just make sure that you you keep an eye on their how far they're pulling out, and know when to switch to null, right? Don't just like stick in void or anti, right? Because that'll probably they end up losing you fights. But he's tanking very well. We're sort of alphaing through his rips. But at this kind of range, we're still doing relatively okay DPS with null. But you know, it's like faster's becoming a bit of an issue, and that might have what been caused it. I do turn off my MWD there, just get a little bit of cap, but maybe too little, too late. This next fight gets a Thrasher, and this guy makes a heck of a play, man. I like when people are smart. This dude ends up keeping us like 4.5k, which is a really smart range to keep a Catalyst at, especially since I've got Void loaded. So I need to make this decision. Do I keep with Void or stick with Null, right? I may just switch to Null. But had I stuck with like Void for a bit longer, you would have had this. You'll see. This is another really down to the wire fight, right? Just know that these like you need to be on top of like your ammo switches in these, right? If he's like past 4.5k or past about, I say if you start pulling about past 3.5k, maybe switch to Null. You'll see there's like one volley difference, man. Okay, so we have a fight against Chorusers now. Chorusers are pretty easy. I noticed that a lot of mistakes that Chorusers make. This guy slid into us, but a lot of Chorusers I end up sliding into always make the mistake of starting at 0. Chorusers have really good range like this fellow. You should really pull yourself out a bit. Like, even Pulses can have to, like, what, 16 with Scorch? So pull himself out to, like, 15 or so. Give him, like, a couple of seconds before I get on top of him. Like, if we were AB fit, it would take us a while to get into range, or we'd be forced to warp. But since we're MWD, would be on him relatively quickly. But just because he's at 0, it makes it a lot easier for us. Now, this is a cool little fight against this Algos. Just keep in mind, this Algos is only 4.5 mil. Right? So, like, with a bit of good piloting, and keeping yourself at range here, because I basically burn after him with MWD. He gets a Wem Scram on his Rapid, so I end up switching to Null, I think. We do not end up switching to Null. We still get Void. And when you come down, but I'm surprised how efficient, or how well this fit did. This Algos for, like, how much it actually cost. So, like, oh, we do end up switching Null. Interesting. He does end up pulling range. And yeah, you'll see, because he's doing very well, very good piloting here, and for the cheap cost he's fit, I was very impressed. Okay, here we have a fight against Comet and a couple of DDs. Thankfully the Fed Comet comes in first, and basically what I want to do is nuke it. I'm always torn on what to load against these brawling frigate gangs, whether it be Void or Anti. We do have like 500 tracking with Void, so Void might actually be the right call here. I'm just worried without a web that to end up getting her for guns. With like Antimatter, we've got like something like 700 tracking, which is really nice. So I don't know if Anti is the right call here, but we take down the Comet. We've taken a lot of damage. We still have a nice bit of hull buffer. We switched to the Fed this Daredevil. This Daredevil's, I think, just keeping us at range or approaching. If I had Void here, I think we would have had this DD, but nevertheless, yeah, boys. Okay, here I'm ignoring my own advice. Do not fight a Jag solo of a Catalyst. Generally, it's a bad idea. Especially since you have range control, looking at your Void and Anti range. I was hoping that maybe this pilot would make a mistake, nor be close, in which case we could maybe use Void or Anti, but we end up switching Null because he keeps us at range, which is the right call here. Generally, Jags and Hawks are very hard to kill solos unless you like have like a really good like cap injected fit yourself, and it's just a really long drawn out battle. Just because of the cap injected like Piff C type Jag and tank some crazy stuff. And like as a Catalyst will be very easy for it to just tank. So that's generally why I say it's like I didn't get to fight a wolf, but be fairly confident fighting a wolf, or just be like a sweet fight. Or a retry, which is what's up now. Basically you want to overheat everything, approach. Yeah, scram the retry. It could be a weird brawl retry, but I'm more confident that it's going to be like a kite one these days. So we end up catch from this is pretty much GG, right? We're still going to probably take a nice little bit of damage because of the beam kite retries do some insane DPS. But we do more DPS and we have like a nice more buffer, right? That'll probably end up, might even start having cap problems at retry. But yeah, basically just nuke it down, and once you've caught it, that's it, right? If you warp in, I wouldn't warp into retry, unless you know the fit. But yeah. Okay, and for our last fight here, this is an awesome little fight against two Comets. So basically, I come into the Plex and see what they're doing. They're blasters, and they're keeping up weird ranges here. So you'll see, I see one of them coming a bit closer, and basically what I end up doing is torrent where to load null or void. They make a smart play and keep us at range of null. And I don't notice this for a little bit at the start, so I need to quickly switch to null. This is my play here. They're not doing as much DPS as what I was expecting. I'm not sure if this was actually a real clever play. If I did switch to null sooner, we might have been in a worse situation. So we switch to null, start nuking down this comet, right? Cat become this is a pretty sweet fight, man. Everything's very down to the wire in this fight. You'll see. We do end up very quickly making quick work of the one comet. Our tanks are starting to become a bit of a issue. Our caps become the problem. So what I could have done is turned off my MWD, which is what we end up doing. Like once you offline your MWD, you get more cap regen, right? It's like a 25% debuff to your capacitor pool once you have an MWD fitted. Once you offline that, you get that pool back, but like not immediate, right? It just basically makes your capacitor regen better. So you see my cap's gone. I'm like, oh no, what do I do here? I ungroup my gun so we can maybe activate a couple offline MWD, just get those last couple hits, and we get it like down to the wire. So yeah, guys, that's the fights I had, man. This catalyst's done work. First, well, still relatively expensive actually. Destroyers tend to be relatively more on the expensive side, just because all the T2 guns you need to fit, right? But 20 mil, like what, half the cost of a faction frigate? This was like a great fun, like for the price. I was totally underestimating Catalyst. I wasn't expecting this to do as well as what it was, or be as fun as what it is. Just to cover, like stuff that I didn't cover in the intro, but I probably did sort of cover it in the fights. Is you can turn off your MWD just for more capacitor, because you'll notice that a lot of those fights, our capacitor was like very low near the end or completely dead. But I tend to not like to what's called offline MWDs in some scrams. You'll see in some of those fights, it's good because like a lot of people like pull range out of null and far enough away as to where they drop scram. You can activate your MWD just to like get a approach on them. If you constantly spam your MWD as they like pull range, you can get an approach on them. That's why you'll see like a lot of those fights, as soon as I'm scrammed, I don't just offline my MWD, because it's still nice to have in play. Against those long drawn out fights, it might have been better to offline it earlier, especially against like say those dual comets there. Like if we offline that at the start, it wouldn't be as what's called crazy as what it was at the end. But yeah, that's just a little tip to take into consideration. But that's the fights I had. That's the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, man, I totally recommend Catalyst. Definitely my #1 destroyer now, taking the spot of the Thrasher. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, guys. It does humble me when you spend your time watching my videos. So yeah, do take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, regional equivalent, and I do hope to catch you guys in the next one.